Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? I know y'all are flocking in this morning to hear the latest tea. Do you have your cup of coffee? Are you cuddling a dog or cat? Okay, you don't have to cuddle a dog or cat, but child, we need to get right into it. But you know what you need to do first? Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm getting really good about remembering to say it. Okay, so look. We finally have a verdict in the case of the state of Michigan versus Jennifer Crumbley. Now listen, this is that no account mama down there in Michigan who didn't raise her child and then left guns laying around and stuff. And then the son, who was also a little, he had a little ticklish brain, took the gun, went down to the school and unalived a bunch of people, and then proceeded to have a psychotic break right after. Child's a mess. And so what the state is saying is that, this was clearly foreseeable. And what the defense was saying, what? Who, me? I'm just a frazzled mom like everybody else. And how could you have expected that I would know that my mentally ill son, who had guns scattered all over the house, how were we supposed to know that he would do bad things with them? So look. The jury went out. They were out for a day and a half, and they thought about it, and they argued back and forth. And you know what they decided? Guilty! Guilty on all charges. Now look, people are having very big feelings about this case. Very, very big feelings about this case. And I'm here to tell you, calm down. There will be other true crime cases. But look, I understand people are in their feelings about this, the slippery slope, and what if, and what if, and what if. This is what I have to say. Now listen, who am I? I'm your friendly neighborhood gossip. So don't be coming here for facts and figures and details and law and stuff like that. Quiet as it's kept. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not. I know it is shocking to you, but I am not a lawyer. But this is what I think as just a regular woman in New Jersey with a big mouth and access to the YouTubes. Turns out the internet goes everywhere. And so I've had to start watching what I say, although in the member spaces, not so much. I just talk. But over here, look. I get all polite and I keep my pinkies out and I sip my coffee like I'm a lady. But this is what I'm gonna tell you. I saw those Miller hearings. Now, not all of the Miller hearings, because, good mental health. But the Miller hearings were the shooter's trial, when a whole lot of details about this mama and his daddy came out. And allow me to assure you, they were trash. They did not raise this child. They abandoned this child basically from the time he was about 3. Oh, he's roaming the streets. He was a feral child raising himself. And in raising himself, he ain't do a good job. And this mom is like, what? I raised him the way I was raised. He just did whatever. All of these men in the town, they cannot fornicate with themselves. I needed to make myself available. And so I had to go service the nether regions of the local gentleman. So she was busy. She had a horse. She had to go ride her horse. There was alcohol to be drunk. She was out doing community service. And by community service, I mean, minded everybody's business but her. This damn dog. I'm gonna let that dog bark, because you know why? Sometimes they just need to bark, and she just wants to go out and in and out and in, and I've had enough. Not that dog. That's the quiet dog. The puppy running her mouth. Anyway, I don't know where she gets that from. So look, the jury found this mama, who was a terrible mother, in my opinion, guilty. Okay, next up, the daddy. Now, I said I thought this mother would be found guilty, and I also think the father would be found guilty. Here's the linchpin in this whole thing for me. This judge. What will this judge sentence these parents to? Now, right now, we can only talk about the mama because the daddy's case hasn't come yet. The mama's going to be sentenced on April 9th, 2024. What kind of sentence is she going to get? Because I've seen this judge before. This is the same judge who was on the case of the state of Michigan versus Megan Amirowitz. For background, I have a playlist. There's a Megan Amirowitz playlist. It was only a 3-day trial. Child, get down there and check up on the Megan Amirowitz case. And Megan Amirowitz was also convicted of an unfortunate unaliving of her father. You see, she threw some lye, like the kind you put down the drain, on her daddy. And her daddy was a drunk just laying there in a pile of urine. And the urine interacted with the lye and burned him all up, and he died. And so poor Megan got convicted. Homicidal Megan got convicted, and the judge was like, okay, you have been convicted. And in my opinion, that was it wasn't justifiable, but like, I understand how the jury, whatever. I could have argued both sides of that. The judge was like, okay, you have been convicted, time served. And I was like, wait, what? Now, in my opinion, that was fair. So, for people who think that this verdict was not fair, and for people who think it was appropriate, this judge might equalize it for everybody. Now, look, I don't know. I am no psychic. I am merely speculating. But the minimum sentence for this crime is like 5 to 15 years, and there are 4 counts. But the sentence will run concurrently, not consecutively. So even if she's sentenced to, say, 5 years on each charge, that's 5 years one time, not 5 and then 5, then 5, then 5, right? So this lady's been in prison for 2 years, in jail for 2 years. If she gets the minimum, which in my opinion, she's likely to get, child, mere speculation just from being a trial watcher, maybe she gets 7 years. I think she does maybe 2-3 more years in prison, and then she goes on with the rest of her life. We'll see what the rest of that life looks like, because everybody knows her name. Everybody knows her face. Although maybe when she gets out of prison, she'll look less homeless, because she was looking super raggedy all through this court case. But I think that was like part of their trial strategy. Look like you're a hot ass mess. And then everybody will say like, oh, I'm a hot mess too. And so this can happen to any hot mess, Mom. But look, did you see the verdict reading yesterday? No. Now, the mother, Mrs. Crumbley, who honestly, now that the case is over, I'm struggling to remember her name. But now that the case is over, she can go on off to prison. And her lawyer, Shannon, I was like, let's take a look at Shannon. Go back to the trial footage and watch when the verdict is read. Jennifer Crumbley looked defeated through this whole case. Every day she was like, I'm a sad sack. My child did terrible things. I was a horrible parent. Just because we didn't raise him, how could we have foreseen that our mentally ill teenager would do terrible things? Wah, 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 wah. That was her demeanor, in my opinion. Her lawyer, Shannon Smith, on the other hand, oh, Shannon was brushing her hair. Isn't Shannon's hair gorgeous? Shannon's hair is gorgeous. But Shannon was the quintessential frazzle mom. She was like, oh my God, I'm giving my closing statement and my kids are terrible too. I was just telling my husband the other day that we have barely raised these kids and they are horrible. And so maybe we should buy some guns because apparently that's what you're supposed to do. This woman left it all on the field. I am not mad at Shannon Smith. Now, do I think Shannon Smith is part chicken? Yes, because she was like balking and flapping and she was frazzled and she was like, I could unalive myself. Ma'am, you're unlikable. Now, is she a good defense attorney? Maybe. Does she have a little chicken on her daddy's side? Also, maybe. Unclear. She balked and she squawked and she ran around and acted flustered. But then when it was her time to give a closing statement, she gave a closing statement for the gods. She stood up there. Her hair was fully brushed. She had a good suit. And she was like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And then she said a bunch of other things that were beautiful. Beautiful. And I was like, oh, if closing statements could win cases, she would have won this case. She had the better closing statement and she looked good and she sounded good. And that's when we came to discover all of her frazzledness was an act that she put on to say, you're frazzled, I'm abandoning my children right now. So this could happen to you. But I'm like, Shannon girl. This could not happen to the average parent because the average parent put some effort into parenting their kids. Those Crumbleys, not so much. So Shannon was just like, I am Kaiser Soze. Where she was just like, I have my act all together. I'm going to give a beautiful closing statement. Look at my beautiful props. Did you see my suit? Did you notice that I was brushing my hair? Did you notice that I did not share my hairbrush with my client because she probably has lice? Look at me, look at me, look at me. Court TV, did you notice? Can I be your new correspondent? You know, she kept looking back at the camera. I was like, girl, we see you looking at the camera. Okay, calm down. But after, during the deliberations, poor Shannon, that chicken did not age good. She was like, her face, she had a puss on her. She was just like, Rrr. I was like, Shannon girl, if you don't win this case, it's not gonna go good. And then in true Shannon fashion, when the verdict was read, she was like, rolling her eyes, and then picked up her phone and immediately started texting. Is she part teenager? She texted through, after the first guilty, she texted through the rest of the verdict. Oh, I saw her because I was watching. She was big mad. Honey, She laid a whole ostrich egg. Nope, not a little chicken egg, a whole ostrich egg. She was hot. She was heated. And then I fully expected her to pull herself together and go give a press conference. Did she give a press conference? No, she did not. She just sat there and pretended to write there in the courtroom and waited for everybody to leave. And all the prosecutors left and they shook hands with the victims and everybody walked away and all this other stuff. And Shannon just sat there with her pen looking stoic like, see, court TV, I can look serious as well. Please call me. I'm ready to be a correspondent. Not today though, but I'm gonna go raise my kids a little bit, and then I would like to be on your channel, please and thank you, because that's gonna be good for my new law firm. So I'm like, okay, Shannon, how much you want to bet she cried her behind off? How much you want to bet? I'm willing to bet. She was texting her husband like, we lost. Make sure the bill gets paid, because you know these losing clients, they don't be liking to pay their bill. Also, start on a file that says appeal on it, and then collect a retainer right away, please. And thank you. So the case wound down, and my heart breaks for these parents. I cannot even imagine, but wait. The jury foreperson spoke to Court TV. This jury foreperson has no time for your mess. Look. You can honestly, if you were sitting in that courtroom, I suspect you knew a verdict was going to come in today. If you saw the amount of makeup that that jury foreperson was wearing, honey, her face beat for the gods, for the gods. The lip was so red it almost broke my TV. I was like, ma'am, first of all, she looked like Snow White. Did you notice she looked like Snow White? She was like, I would like to say a few words on behalf of the jury. I have 12 packs of eyelashes on. I can barely keep my eyes open because her eyes were like, I was like, ma'am, you know how like the thick lash is the thing? She went full Muppet, 100% full Muppet. I was like, Janice girl, is that you? Just so many lashes, such a red lip, and so that girl put that on with the trowel this morning. She like, okay, baby, I'm gonna comb my hair. I'm gonna blow this out. She looked gorgeous, but it was a lot of makeup. A lot of makeup. In my estimation, now look, please know, I live on the heathen coast of the United States. Yes, I live in New Jersey. Some people call us coastal elites. My family will refer to us as the heathen coast. Child, it is what it is. That woman looked super Midwestern. Just a lot of makeup. And that flat Michigan accent. And so she gave some interesting insight once she was finally able to open her eyes, which I promise you was a struggle. She said both sides were fully represented. We went back and forth. And then I got up this morning and I troweled on some makeup and put all of the lipstick at the whole CVS on my whole mouth. I'm surprised it was not on her teeth. Was that a stain? She could do like a lip liner, a lip line. Anyway, and she's just like, no, I will not give my name. Both sides were represented. The heifer was guilty. Thank you and have a nice day. I was like, okay, girl, you looking real cute. Wasn't that cold in Michigan yesterday? Because it was super cold in New Jersey yesterday. She had her coat unzipped just a little bit off the shoulder. She's like, I am ready for my national TV debut. And girl, she got it. She definitely got it. So I'm like, okay, jury foreperson, go back in your community, go back and live the rest of your life. We're going to see what this judge does. Listen, this judge might give this lady 5 years, which means she spends 2 years in prison, and everybody goes back to their life. And the people who say you should be more responsible for your kids going to be happy. And the people who think she shouldn't have been convicted will be, I don't know if they could get to happy, but they could be okay. But listen, this will all go to appeal and people will sort out their laws and that'll be that. Honestly, in my opinion, by the time it gets appealed, then the lady gonna be out of prison anyway. So I'm not really that worried about it. There's new gossip. Child, steaming hot tea out of South Carolina. Zero Dark Tinsley, Mark Tinsley of the Alec Murdaugh case. Mark Tinsley, who is not to be trifled with, has sued Will Folks. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. My favorite person has sued my least favorite person in South Carolina. Good morning, Will Folks, which is 65,000 children. Now, listen, here's the reason that I do not care for Will Folks. I know I'm a gossip. I know I'm petty. That's what y'all come here for. Petty. I'm fully petty. I care what people wear. I care how they look in court. Yes, that's me. You know what I'm not? A news outlet. You know what Will Folks is? A smut peddler. Kind of like me, only less fun. So, Will Folks, who's made his reputation has become, I got Nikki Haley's draws. That's his entire reputation. And now he has a newspaper called Fitz, First in the South News, political news, subtitle, I got a Nikki Haley's draws. That's what it says right there on the headline. He's kind of garbage, in my opinion. Now listen, does Will Folks clip my little things sometimes and put them on his social media? Yes, and Will, thank you for the plug, because I'm a girl who likes to be promoted. He, on the other hand, is supposed to be a newsman. Or maybe people know what they're getting with Will. I don't even know. All I know is he has a very beautiful wife, Katrina, something like that. How she had his children, I will never know. But okay, whatever. You want to know the truth? I don't know none of these people personally. They're not coming to my house for dinner. I'm not going to their house for dinner. I'm sure they're fine. I just wouldn't want to hang out with them. I certainly wouldn't want to work for Will Folks. No. Because I have seen his behavior. And Jen Wood, professional journalist Jen Wood, down there in South Carolina, be careful, girl. That very smart Dylan Nolan, that little fetus boy, be careful. Although, I think Will tends to give men a break. But Kelly Lyons, girl, govern yourself accordingly. You know who you're working with. Anyway, apparently, Will Folks ran something in his newspaper, gossip, like he always does, saying that some kid is named in the unfortunate unaliving of Stephen Smith. And that turns out not to be true. So Mark Tinsley is civilly suing Will Folks for defamation. I honestly don't care how this case comes out. I just don't. I will be watching, though, because gossip. That's what you're here for. The gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo of it all. Oh, and Eric Bland is on the sideline instigating. And I'm like, yes, Eric, come through. Tell us more. Please post more court documents. So as the messy South Carolina situation unfolds, I will be here. I will be perched. I will have a cup of coffee. I will be watching. I hope that you will be watching, too. I will see you later. Bye.